It's a fascinating thing how a setting can become engaging just on its own, so long as you make it authentic. And that kind of goes into another point that Adam Millard made. The only thing that games actually have to do to build a good world is to make us give enough of a shit about it, about this made-up nonsense, so that getting to see more of it becomes its own reward, right? He says that this is the only thing you have to do. And I'm pretty sure that's just an oversimplification for the purpose of the video, but it's not really accurate. To make a world interesting, to make us care about the world, what you need to do is to achieve wonder. And there are many ways to do that. But even just saying achieve wonder, that's a result, right? So how do you do it? That's why I went with authenticity as the main point here. So long as you can make something ridiculous authentic, that's sufficiently awe-inspiring, wonder-inspiring. You could define, let's say, a world where the seagulls are made of swords. I don't know, right? And you could just randomly pick that. And on its own, that means nothing. So we don't know why we should care. And you can write tons of lore about this. What does lore mean, right? Lore is the folk lore, the verbal kind of retelling of past events that goes down through the generations and the like. In the modern context, people often use lore as a substitute for like history. So you can write tons of history about the seagulls and how like an evil wizard cursed them because he hated seagulls because they kept on stealing his tuna and whatever. Sure, right? That's cool and all. No one's probably going to read it. It's probably boring. But even if they do, on its own, that's not enough for authenticity because it doesn't address the topic of authenticity. Authenticity begins when you start asking the how of things, right? How does that happen? What consequences does it have? Who is affected by this fact? Are there hunters of seagulls? Do they starve to death, right? Do soldiers start hunting seagulls so that they can use them as weapons? That's a cool idea, right? And you can develop that further and say, well, there was this country which was on an island, a small island relatively, which was very weak because it didn't have access to many natural resources. It couldn't have a strong army. But once the seagulls became weapons, because they had many seagulls, they would hunt them and use them as swords and armaments for the soldiers, and suddenly in the span of 50 years the country became a superpower because as everyone else was being harried by flying swords, these guys managed to wield them properly. And already you can see how that's starting to get exciting. So I wanted to make this